everyone usually, like, the common, popular definition of the state is, whatever has the authority or the monopoly on violence. And yeah, fine, like that's an acceptable definition, I think. However, the reason that, like, the state would have the righteous monopoly on violence is because ostensibly they have the monopoly on what is like the correct moral outlook, right? Like if this is the entity that is, chosen through, voting, and therefore, like their authority is derived from the consent of the governed, so therefore their monopoly on violence is justified. It The idea that therefore everyone owning a firearm or having access to firearms, that type of thing, would lead to a safer and more stable society starts to fall apart when there is no monopoly on morality in this process, where you have large groups of people who don't share any type of similar worldview as people that live 20 feet away from them, right? Like obviously, political violence. There's been an uptick this year, especially in recent weeks, obviously with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, attacks on churches. This is, it's a difficult topic to approach right now because, again, people do have to be careful. You don't want to quickly say like, oh, well, we should make some like hasty knee jerk decisions about this that will cost certain portions of what is an American birthright. But you also have to weigh that against the fact that many tens of millions of people who are here are not American, and tens of millions of people who are here who uh, are Americans on paper do not buy into this understanding of what it means to live in an ordered society, or to live in a society with liberty, or even why the Second Amendment, uh, would lead to a more peaceful society rather than a more violent society, right? Like you mentioned, places that have a lot of gun violence, like the Hood, or like countries like Mexico is a good example. Mexico has pretty strict anti-gun laws, but the country is operated by a militant drug cartel. South Africa has very restrictive private gun laws, but everyone knows, how that is playing out right now. So the idea that everyone having access to firearms will create a more peaceful, more ordered society with more individual liberty really does only work if these people are bought into the same moral vision of what it means to live with liberty, right? And of course, older definitions of this usually suggest that it's free from like being arbitrarily interfered with by other men, right? It's a way to live according to God's will without arbitrary interference from the government or from other men or something like that. It's the ability to live and do what's right. It's not necessarily the ability to shoot anyone who doesn't want you to dress up in like a weird fetish dog suit and hump each other in the park next to the playground, right? Like that's you cannot have a society where those two competing visions both have access to, battle rifles and have something that it like represents stability. That will not work. That will immediately fall apart. And the other constraint on this, the other point of friction, just to change gears a little bit, is that the firearms industry as a whole is very much driven by consumer sentiment, and a consumer mindset towards gun ownership allows what was previously and correctly viewed as a duty or an obligation owed by the American rifleman to his family or his community or his country, the obligation to like protect your home or provide food on the table or to be self-reliant. When this becomes just a consumer thing, it becomes masturbatory. It's you've got guys who have rifles leaned in the corner of their room, and it's basically like a vestigial organ reminding them of a way of life that used to exist. And it's just like a mocking imitation of what it once was. And so you have this situation where modern consumptive behavior has separated the idea of duty accompanying a right. uh, those two things are now separated, and that only leads to bad outcomes and erosion. of a social order. This is what we get for that type of like optimization brain where we filter out the bad stuff, like duties and obligations from stuff that's fun, like big guns and powerful bullets and shit like that. And we see this with more than just guns, of course, but that is another factor as well. It's not just the cultural divide between people who are basically insane versus not insane, but there's also that erosion of the understanding that firearms are a right in the sense that they are also a duty and an obligation. It's not just something that's like fun to post on Instagram.